"Don't open that door," a frantic voice shouted from deep within the dark hallway. But Daniel had already turned the knob. He did it, and in that split second, he realized he'd unleashed something far beyond his understanding. Crap. Some weeks earlier, Daniel, a journalist always chasing the next big story, had moved into an old house in a forgotten town with his wife Laura and their daughter Sophia. The place had a certain nostalgic charm. Creaky wooden floors, tall windows that let in streams of dusty sunlight. Yet beneath that quaint exterior, there was an unsettling feeling, as if the house held so many secrets waiting to be discovered. While sorting through the attic, Daniel found a sealed box, its tape yellowed with age. Inside, he found a large collection of audio tapes labeled with dates spanning several decades. One tape caught his eye. It had a handwritten note, "Do not play after midnight." Curiosity getting the better of him, he shrugged off the warning and decided to listen that tape. As he pressed play, a cold, whispering voice filled the room, recounting tales of missing people and unexplained happenings. The further he listened, the stranger it became. Distant cries, distorted laughter, and whispers that seemed to murmur his own name. Chills. Daniel felt a chill run down his spine. "It's just a prank," he told himself, trying to shake off the unease. Over the next few days, he became engrossed in the tapes, eager to unravel their mystery. Each recording was more eerie than the last, almost as if someone or something was reaching out to him. Laura noticed the change. "You look exhausted," she said one morning, concern etched on her face. "Maybe you should take a break." He forced a smile. "I'm fine, just caught up in this new project." One night, Sophia woke up screaming. "There's someone in my room," she sobbed. Rushing to her side, Daniel and Laura found no one. "It was just a bad dream, sweetheart," Laura whispered, tucking her back into bed. But Daniel couldn't shake the feeling that there was more to it. Determined to find answers, he visited the local library the next day. The librarian, an elderly woman with piercing eyes, grew tense when he mentioned where they lived. "That house has a history," she said quietly. She told him about a family who vanished without a trace decades ago. Rumors swirled about the house being a gateway for restless spirits. "Be careful," she warned. "Some doors are better left unopened." That evening, Daniel confronted Laura. "I think there's something wrong with this place," he began, but she dismissed his worries. "You're letting those old tapes get to you," she replied. "Maybe it's time to put them aside." Grabbing a flashlight, Daniel made his way upstairs. The air grew colder with each step. Reaching the attic, he found the box empty and strange symbols scrawled on the walls. "Time is slipping. No escape. She holds the key." A soft melody drifted through the air, a lullaby Laura often sang to Sophia. Following the sound, he discovered a door he'd never seen before. Inside was a room lined with antique mirrors, each reflecting not his image, but shadowy figures lurking behind him. In the center stood Sophia, humming softly. "Sophia, honey, what are you doing here?" he asked gently. She turned, her eyes distant, a faint smile on her lips. "They told me you would come," she whispered. Before he could move, dark shapes began to ripple across the mirrors, reaching out toward them. "Run!" Daniel shouted, scooping her up. They raced downstairs, but the house seemed to twist and turn, hallways stretching endlessly. Laura appeared at the end of one corridor. Relief washed over him. "We need to get out of here," he yelled. But as she stepped closer, he noticed something was off. Her eyes mirrored the same emptiness he'd seen in Sophia's. "Where are you going?" Laura asked softly. "We belong here." Shadows swirled around her feet. Panic surged through Daniel. "This isn't real," he muttered, trying to steady himself. Recalling a passage from an old book he'd glanced at in the library, he began to recite a protection prayer. The walls trembled, the shadows hesitated. Seizing the moment, he found the front door and burst outside into the pouring rain. They dashed to the car, but the keys were nowhere to be found. Come on," he cried, frustration mounting. Suddenly, Laura appeared on the porch, her figure illuminated by a flash of lightning. "You can't run from destiny," she called out. Desperate, Daniel decided to head to the church they'd passed on their way into town. Maybe there, they'd find sanctuary. The heavy wooden doors creaked as they pushed inside. An old priest looked up, startled. "Please, we need help," Daniel pleaded. As they told their story, the priest's expression grew grim. "That house is a conduit for restless souls," he said. "But perhaps there's a way to sever its hold." They prepared a cleansing ritual, but as they began, a cold wind swept through the chapel. Candles flickered out, shadows danced along the walls. "They're here," the priest whispered. Dark forms materialized, moving closer. "Protect Sophia," the priest urged, beginning to chant. Daniel held his daughter tight. "It's going to be okay," he whispered, but Sophia looked up, tears in her eyes. "I'm sorry, Daddy. I didn't mean to invite them." Before he could react, a force pulled her from his arms. "No!" Daniel screamed, reaching out as she vanished into the darkness. Silence fell. The priest lay on the ground, the weight of the ordeal too much to bear. Daniel sank to his knees, grief consuming him. Days blurred together. Haunted by loss, Daniel knew what he had to do. Returning to the house one last time, he entered the hidden room. The mirrors now showed memories, happy moments with his family, laughter, love. "I'm ready," he whispered. A gentle warmth enveloped him. In the reflection, Laura and Sophia stood beside him, their smiles genuine. "Welcome home," they said softly. From the outside, the house stood silent, a relic of the past. But locals say that on quiet nights, you can hear the faint echoes of laughter and whispers. A family reunited beyond the veil.